everybody, what's going on? Just wanted to do a stream for a little while here, talk about some patterns. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world with these, but what I have found that has helped me a lot is kind of what I'm going to show you. As soon as I find the 8-ball, the quest for the 8-ball, I will round the table for the second time and search for it. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so the main thing that you want to work on is just having a good plan. And a good plan is something that it's subjective, but there are better and worse ways to play the game. So, like, for example, what I would suggest is start off by saying, you've got 2 balls left in the 8. Let's say you've been given ball in hand, your opponent scratched on the ball right before the 8. And this is kind of what you're working with. So you can look at this a number of different ways, but what you really want to try and do is just come up with a plan that's, as I've heard before, repeatable, right? What's repeatable? Well, the easiest thing you can do is just like, I don't know, I used to overthink these kinds of patterns a lot, all the time. But the easiest thing you can do is just say, hey, if I had an angle like right here, and I just had to make the 3-ball, the cue ball would naturally come up over here for the 8. It's like, all right, so I want an angle somewhere in this range from this ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of an angle here. I'm going to roll the cue ball down here, and then I'm going to roll in the 5 or the 3 with a little bit of top right and come over there. And then that's my plan. But starting with having that is huge. And then, yeah, from here, just a little bit of top right. Cue ball comes toward the 8-ball. And then, when you're on the 8-ball, you have to have a good relationship with 8-ball. It sounds weird, but I will literally just say, this is the easy ball. You just picture it going in. And that's that, right? So, you just throw out 2 balls in the 8-ball, like so, and you practice those 2 balls and the 8-ball. Now, something you can do as well is you can set up these 2 balls or these 3 balls in this exact format. And I'll try to demonstrate what that would look like. I don't have enough stickers right now to really demonstrate this, but I'll try to show you what I mean. So you can take chalk. I'd recommend getting like those little dots, those little sticker dots. But essentially you just put a little mark, a little X. So the first ball goes. That's the second ball goes. And this is where the 8-ball goes. So one way to learn more consistency in pool is be able to have multiple options, right? So here's one way that you can get out. Right there. That, I hope you giggle at that. I know I do. Alright, let me do this a different way, okay? I'm going to do the same thing, but the truth is I overran the first ball. All right, over in the first ball. So I'm keeping the pocket line of the 3 ball like this. So I'm just gonna roll up to like right here. That's the goal. This is more of a, this is a delicate shot. All right, just make sure you cross the line. Don't scratch like I did last time. It wasn't the goal. Yeah, and then here, I'm just gonna draw back a little bit. Nothing crazy. Don't have to get too cute with it, as we say in the biz. This is the easy ball. Right? Okay, so that was one way. Ignore the first time with the old scratcheroonie. All right, now, same two starting points, ball in hand. Now let's figure out a different way to do it. Now when I'm doing something like this, what I envision is in the center of the pocket through the object ball and connect it out. So this line right here, if I get the cue ball to this, it'll be straight in. I don't want to be on the rail though, so I'll give myself a tiny angle, but what I do is I draw in my mind where this pocket line is, right here. So I'm going to get in that area. Give myself a little more angle than that, yeah. I'm going to get into that area. So that now I'm trying to just roll this ball in. And then the 8 ball, right? So that's another way to go. Now you've got this same position, and you go a different way. Right? So all of this stuff is to just kind of prove that it's not that you have to do it a certain way. It's just you have to have a plan. So as I'm just demonstrating to you, there are many, many, many different ways to get out. And the more creativity you can have and the more ideas you can generate for how to get out, the more likely you are to get out. Okay? And we haven't started with the 4 ball yet. So we'll just go like this. No, we have started with the 4 ball. I lied. We haven't gone that way. This is another kind of interesting way to go. So, now that we've kind of exhausted that, what you do then is you build up to 3 balls. Build up to 3 balls. And the idea is you start off by just developing skill around coming up with a plan, executing that plan, and being okay with it changing. And when you practice building up the patterns this way, it's easier to be okay with it changing because you're used to purposely trying different ways to get out depending on where you start from, right? So this is one way. You can challenge yourself to try to get out with the least cue ball movement, like the softest shots. Oh. saw that. So one exercise that you can do is say, like, all right, I'm going to run this pattern out without English. I'm going to run this pattern out with all draw or whatever it is, right? Starting with a different ball, you can go, I'm going to start with whatever ball's right here, and I'm going to find all the different ways that I can get out. I'm going to start with this ball, find all the different ways that I can get out. You know, so it's just a matter of like picking different ways, and because if you know the angle that you're trying to get to, so like in this case, I was planning having more of an angle on the 5 ball, which I don't have. So it's worth looking at this situation and saying, what else could I do that would allow me to get out? Well, I'm just going to try to pull to the side rail. Just cut over for the 5 from here. Okay, landed a little bit funky. But this is real life. This is how games are played. Now, I'm going to try to cut this really thin. I have to hit it pretty hard, but I'm going to see if I can get shape. Again, this is an edge-to-edge situation with low inside. Oh, that was kind of interesting. Okay, well, it worked. When you're really close to the rail, you can try to draw it in and pop it, which a lot of times I'll do, but sometimes it's better to just roll it in. But I think at this point I'll go for a draw. Again, this is the easy ball. Picture it going in, have a good relationship with it. Because that's the thing that I struggled with quite a bit early on, was having a relationship with the 8 ball that was just, I'm afraid. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if I'm going to make it, if I'm going to miss it. Like, I have no clue. Yeah, so also, if you're going from a ball that's in the middle of the table to a ball that's at the end of the table, you don't always have to just try to float down to perfect shape. You can play to go all the way to the end rail and back out to right here as well, like I'll demonstrate here. Follow through is just nice and smooth. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, it's landed a little bit interesting. That's alright. So you can cheat it to this side. So the cue ball is going to go straighter, right? Because the more of this ball, the red ball, the more of this ball that I hit, the less the cue ball is going to go this way after it hits it. It's going to go more straight. And then if I have enough spin that's going this way, in this case right, then it'll want to pull back toward the 8 ball. Like that. So that's how you can use English to dramatically alter the path that the cue ball was going to go. And so that's really important. And yeah, so another thing that's good about this kind of a drill is it takes you out of feeling like you need to compete and whatever all the time. You're just simply making balls, right? And there's something really enjoyable about that. But like, then you start to go, okay, well, I've got to get creative. You could put blocker balls in here. You could do all sorts of things. But like, I'm gonna say, let's see, this will go right there. It should be, give me the 7 inside. Or that, or that. Oh, here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. All right, interesting. Okay, well, so from here then, maybe, I have 2 choices from here. And this is where it also helps to, like, if you're practicing like this, also pretend that you're down 9-1 in a race to 10 against somebody. If they need 1 game, you need, you need 9. So have that pressure on yourself and go, I have to get out, I have to get out. But take that pressure, channel that into, okay, if I'm in this spot, I could take the 4 ball. Then the cue ball is going to be running everywhere and I can't miss. If I take the 7 ball and I miss, they're easy. Okay, every player thinks that way. So you've got to determine what your best chance of getting out is given everything. So I think if you take the 4 inside with a little bit of top left or running inside, come up like this, come back and forth a few times, you'll probably have a shot, right? That's one way you can go. Or I can just take the 7 and draw back a little bit, take the shape that I get, which I think is actually a safer play, because if I end up with a weird angle on the 7, then I'm going to be really upset. So I'm just going to focus all my energy on the stop shot on the 7 ball and go from there. Okay, that was a good move. I feel like that was smart. So this is that same shot I had last time, except there's more angle. So I'm actually going to pop it down with low right and come up this way to get shape on the 8 ball. Again, pretty low though. Oh, that went differently than I expected. It's okay. Still have a shot. Still have a shot. Again, this is the easy ball. You got to have a good relationship with that 8 ball, because if you don't, you're always going to get afraid of it, right? And so it kind of just goes up from there. And you do that drill, and yes, it seems kind of boring, but if you take that drill, then you go up like this, then you put up 1 ball on the table, right? Keep ball in hand in a scenario like this. Now that you've got more than 3, now you're really looking at it as a bigger puzzle. So now you're looking at it and saying, okay, Group A, Group B, from solids, right? So it would make more sense for me to take care of one section, use 1 ball to link to the second section, right? And sometimes I'll say this. I'll say, yeah, I see that there are 2 sections. I see that the 1 ball could easily link me to the 3 or the 4 to get on the 8 ball. That's fine. Group A, Group B, with the link ball between the 2 groups, and then the 8. Yeah, you have your key ball that you want to think about as well, but what I also think about sometimes, I'm like, okay, would I like it, though, if I got to this 1 ball and all I had left was the 3 and the 8? Well, yeah, that'd be cool. So then I'm like, okay, well, is there a way I could start with the 4 and still get there? And there is. So the idea would be you could start, or you could piece it back even further and say, all right, what if, yes, I recognize there are 2 groups, but it would be nice to just get to the 1 ball and then the 8 ball. Because if I can get from the 6 to the 1 and the 1 to the 8, that's really easy. So what you can do, one way you can go, is you can go take the 3 here, take the 3, stun up with the 4, pull the 7 back, below the 6-ball pocket line, of course. A little bit below. Roll that in, roll over here, roll the 1 and then the 8. That's one way you can go. It's not the only way you can go, but it's certainly a choice, right? So we can try that out. All right, so we want to get a little bit below the pocket line. So I'm actually just going to, just follow it a little bit past that. Okay, so start. Now I'm going to roll up to the 7. Okay, and now once I get to the 7, I reevaluate, make sure, do I have to do that, or could I change my route? I could always change my route, but let's just see if it rolls the way that we want it to. So again, just going to roll, we're going to roll the 7 in. As soon as the table rolls on me. Okay, that's fine. But the main point is just having a plan. Like, it helps so much. I played pool for a really long time, getting up to here. Played pool for a really long time without a real plan. Okay, well, this is going great. But the more plan that you have, the better. I can just tell you that it does make a difference. And the more thorough your plan, and the more that you are willing to adjust your plan, the better off you're going to be. And recognizing that, hey, you know, it's not always going to go perfectly. It's not always going to be exactly what you planned for. But if you build up those kinds of patterns, right, you build up to the point where you can have all the balls out. And again, you don't want to start super difficult, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this would be a full run out if I ran out. My first thought is the 1 ball is a little bit weird. But not, because if I get from the 1 to the 4 to the 3 to the 6 to the 8, that's done. Or I can go, the 6 is at a little bit of a weird angle. So I could go 1, no, it's not that bad. Okay, so this ball gets me to the end of the sequence. 1, 4, 3, off the rail, 6, 8. So then just getting this angle on the 1 is all I'm really worried about. And that's not difficult either. Start here. 7, 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 8. So you got the plan right there. Now that's once you've built up a little bit. And then again, once you've got that pattern, you're still keeping your eye on that pocket line. So this is the pocket line that I want to be on for the 2 ball. So try to set up my ball in hand, so I'm just rolling into that line as much as I can. Because this is one of those outs that, like, with the pattern, you don't need to hit any difficult shots. You don't. Everything can literally be just rolled in. And this is why the comment of, oh, the good players make it look easy, it's because they're literally not doing any difficult shots when they don't have to. They're literally just making the game, they're making it easy. And because if you have a good pattern, and it's okay to change it too. So like in this case, I'm going to change it just slightly. Now, when you hide yourself because you changed it, that happens too. I'm fallible, I'm a human being. Should I jump it? could. But yeah, so this is the scenario where, man, I probably shouldn't have changed my plan. Because now I have no shot. Well, I do have a shot. I'm just lazy. I don't get my jump cue out. But anyway, that's the idea, right? Have your plan. I changed my plan last second because I had one tiny bit of a weird angle. And for me as a player, that is definitely like, that definitely happens to me where like I have a plan, there's really nothing wrong with the plan. I just didn't get perfect shape, so I change it. And that oftentimes leads to just a missed shot or missed shape, and that's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. But again, having the willingness to say, hey, good enough is good enough. Do I have a shot at the next ball? Yes or no? And that's literally kind of it. And so the more of that you do, and the more practice like that you do, the more comfortable you get planning the route. And that's kind of how it worked for me, is like I couldn't do patterns very well, and like in that last one, it's like, no, I didn't run out, but it's because I got really, really picky and I wanted exact and perfect. But that's also just a good, I guess, teachable moment, I guess, is that happens. 8 ball's kind of in a weird spot, but not really that bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a 3. And I'm going to take the 3, I'm going to draw back the 2, 4, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. 3, 2, 4, 6, 7. No, I like the 1. The 1's the weird ball. 1 is the weird ball. Alright, so you take the weird ball. You like, oh, I want to go after the 3 first. Okay, well, you don't have to. You go like this. Take a tiny, tiny angle on the 1 ball. So that you can run right past it and take that 3 right afterward. And focus on the 1. Now you can take the 3, or actually you have that shape on the 2 ball, so why don't I just go right up and around it, get the shape that way. Or that's something. Okay, that's alright. Modifications are good. Alright, 3, 4, 6, 7, 5, 8. So 3 drift over. Smooth. Right? Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Now, you could also take the 6 last to get to the 8. So that's actually, again, this is always coming back to adjusting your pattern. So from here, I'm actually going to take top left, and I'm going to come out right like this to here, somewhere in this range. Then I'll take the 7, the 5, the 6, and the 8. So really, I'm just focusing on getting into here for my next shot, somewhere in that vicinity. And again, the better the target you have, the more likely you are to hit it. So then, take the 7, come off the rail a little bit, then take the 5, touch of right English to stay below that 6 ball line, and then look at the 8. Yeah, this is straight in right here, so I can afford to, I could just stop it, but I'll just draw it back a tiny bit. and then I'm on the 8 ball, like that. So adjusting your plan's good, but that's kind of how you get more comfortable with the patterns. And like, yeah, when you have a breakout you need to make, or you have just kind of an awkward shot, always consider your safeties, or like, okay, that's going on, all right, fine. No, like in this kind of situation. So I actually figured this out, which usually, or back in the day, I wouldn't be able to do it. So right now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this 2 ball first, and I'm going to set the 2 ball line so that the peace sign heads in the direction of the 8 ball. Because if I can make the 8 hit the 7 and make it, then I've got 3, 4, 6, 8, and then I'm done. So my first shot with this tie-up is to break out that 7 ball. Make it, actually. And if not, at least do that. Same idea. Yeah. So then I will draw a little bit below this line so that I can stun over to the 4 ball. So the line goes right here, so I just need to draw it back just a tiny bit from right here. Like that. Then land it basically straight, which is fine, because this 4 ball line comes up to here. Oh, there's a 1, didn't even see it. Good thing I checked. Well, that makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? So the 1's basically straighten out here, right here. So I just got to draw back a little bit, not a ton, a little bit. That was basically 0. It's all right. It's not quite gonna work. All right, well, I'll take the 4 ball and get back to the same line on the 1. That's the goal. And then I'll go 1, 2, 3 here. Actually, no, you can just make it soft. That's fine. Same idea. Same idea. Now, you're on the wrong side of this ball. So you've got to assess, okay, what option do I have? I see if I go low right, I'll come around like this. Could bump right into the 9 ball. Or I could hit it really soft with a lot of left. Come pretty much to the same spot. Yeah, so I think I'll just try to hit the 9 ball or run into it somehow. Right in that general region. Okay, that worked even better. Didn't have to hit it, I guess. But what I'm trying to say over all of this is that having a pattern, readjusting your pattern, and then watching it kind of unfold, changing it, like, oh, I didn't get the breakout right away. All right, but I did move it, so I can do something, right? So I know I used to be a player where, and it still happens sometimes, where you're like, oh, it's opened. My opponent missed on their 5th shot, and I've got nothing in my way, but I just can't decide on a pattern. And it definitely feels kind of crappy when you can't pick, and you just cannot decide. And then you kind of sit there and freak out. You're like, wow, if I just have a plan, I know I could get out, but I can't decide what I want to do. So I'm already looking, okay, 7 ball goes. So in that case, getting shape on the 6 ball is a little bit weird, but not that bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3, 5, 1, 4, 6, 7, 2, 8. That's what I'm going to try to do here. So 3 stop shot, roughly. And then, yep, I've got plenty of room on the 1 ball. So I'll stop on the 5 from here. And then on the 4 ball, I don't want too much of an angle. So again, you can kind of keep it simple here. Just roll in the 1 ball. If the cue ball doesn't curve off, okay, it's all right. My table's not perfectly level. If I get up to the 9 ball, if I get up to right about here, I'll be golden on the 6. So I'm just gonna really nice and soft roll this ball in here. And if it's a little soft, that's okay, as long as I have a shot, I'll be all right. And I do. So I actually can see the 7 from here. So if that's the case, I could take the 7. And if I take the 7 and I'm straight in on the 2 ball, that's fine, because then I can stun it back here and hit the 9 and then take the 6. So I think that's what I want to do. Stop shot, stun shot, stop shot on the 7, stun shot over, or stop shot on the 7, stun shot on the 2, 6, 8. From the angle that I'm at right now. Oh, well, it doesn't help when you twist your arm. I will tell you that. You don't make the ball when you change your sheet. Alright, so then you're in this weird spot. Okay. So the cue ball's going to head this way. Could come back up here. But it's probably, at this angle, it's probably just going to either hit the 8 ball or go right by it. And if it hits it, I'm going to try to sneak past the 8. If I hit the 8 directly on, then I do have a cut angle that's not that bad. But speed, obviously that would have been very not fun. And in this situation, I actually, if I'm going to play this right, I'm going to have to hit this in the side pocket, come off like this, come up and around for the 8. Now at this angle, it's always helpful when you're back cutting into the side pocket to look here. Put your eyeball on the spot where you're going to have to hit it. Keep it there and walk over here and say, okay, that is hitting a quarter of the ball. So line it for a quarter of the ball and hit it smooth. And there she comes. Just like that. So, so the trick with that shot, and that's actually like, that's some trickery shit right there. When you got a back cut in the side, technically it's considered like a blind shot. So don't just hope that you're going to get there, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to hit it short, because your subconscious wants you to play for the center of the pocket for a shot like that, which means you're going to hit the nipple on the way in. So just take a look at it, see what the actual angle is, and then just keep your eye on that spot and follow through accordingly. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. Hope it's helpful. Leave a comment if you learn anything, if you have any other ideas. But that's what I got. So yeah.